Well, I'm I deleted a bunch of video that I had made about this car and going to get it. And not really, it's a bummer. But I guess I'll just have to make new video. So, this is a 1979 Dodge Omni. It's a GL, so it's got all the fancy trim on it. A lot of them, that stuff was all black, just painted black. This car's got all the stainless on it. It has the sport decal package. This side of the car is, this is all original paint, original decals. It's the front, the grill it had on it stuff. It's unfortunately had a little boo-boo on the front corner here, so this stuff's kind of all misaligned. This is a later model, or earlier, whatever, like an 80 something marker light. It protrudes. This side it's flush. That's what this would have had on it originally. Of course, there's a chip on this one, which if I could find another one that doesn't have a chip, I'd replace this. I got a little piece busted off the grill here, which is, you know, it's right at the edge of the hood, so it's not that noticeable. But I really, if I could find the correct headlight bezel, and even another grill, because it's broke right here too. If I could find a bezel and a grill, or even a bezel grill with another bezel that's in decent shape, I'd probably change them all out. But I have to work all this over, get it pulled back out a little bit more, and it's a little twisted still. And you can see they use some like self-tappers where the plastic or whatever clips were. So that needs some attention. But 1.7 liter Volkswagen engine, very odd. 78 and 79 are really odd. I don't remember what year they started putting the Chrysler engines in these, but this was what they did to get the fuel economy, the little 4-cylinder front-wheel drive setup going when they started making these little cars. Chrysler hadn't finished designing the 4-cylinder engine, 4-cylinder front-wheel drive stuff. So kind of a weird thing about this car being a 79. It's got the Volkswagen engine in it. This side, as you can see, the clear coat. These did not come with a two-stage paint. They didn't have a clear coat originally. And I did notice there is gaps between the color stripes here. And that's supposed to be on one solid decal that's the multicolored stripe. And the other side, there's no gaps. And actually I noticed, even though this has been clear coated on the quarter panel down here, this one, as you can see, and my fingernail doesn't catch anything, they did not replace the stripe down here. So I'm not quite sure, because there's no paint up to the edge of this decal. So I don't quite know how they clear coat blended this somehow. And you can see from the hatch to the body, if it'll focus, you can see the difference in the paint material. But they also, for some reason, they painted the pillar here. So I'm kind of thinking they might not have like completely painted the car. Because right here you can see there's a hard edge clear coat, but then it goes into the single stage. So they might have just touched up color where there was damage, and then they just clear coated all over this stuff where they had done color touch up. So obviously I'm thinking something happened in these doors here, wherever the damage was. But there's a lot of paint, like bubbles. It's like there's like corrosion. It's almost like the panel is galvanized underneath. It's not rust. It's like corrosion bubbles. It's kind of weird. There's some, I've noticed some on this back door too. So I don't know what they did to prep these areas where they did paint, but it's reacting and unfortunately failing. The rest of the car is actually in straight enough shape, and the paint's all intact and stuff. I mean, besides this dent here, and the bumper's a little bent, which has got a crack in it. It's a bummer, because I was going to try to straighten that. It's aluminum, So I don't know if I can straighten it and not have that just split. So I'll probably just leave it alone. If I happen to find another bumper, I'll change it. And then this, I'll probably just leave it alone. I think the paint's already kind of, yeah, it's already cracked and a little rusty, right here on the edge. Original license plates, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna clean those up, keep them on the car. It'll get registered as an antique collector car. I'll probably drive it a decent amount, back and forth to work sometimes and stuff, but I just really want to preserve it. Aftermarket wheels that are all matching. Center caps are gone, but I know what they look like because this car was running around in high school. A girl had it, and when I was in high school, she was driving it back and forth to work, and she worked here in town, so I used to see this thing all over the place, and I always wanted it. I always wanted this car because I just thought, yeah, it's an Omni, which is kind of like a throwaway car, and like they're not like, some super cool like hot rod or anything, but it's just the copper paint with these sunset tone type colored stripes, and then these custom wheels and stuff, and it was just shiny, like it looked brand new. Back in high school, it was unreal how nice it was, because most of these cars, they're just, even when I was in high school in the early 2000s, they look like trash, because this is a 79. Most of them, they came out in 78. They made them through into the late 80s. I think they maybe made them into the early 90s, but paint wasn't very good back then. They were built to be a cheap throwaway car, and people just used them like that. They got beat up and thrown away. This one was actually somewhat taken care of, and it's showing its age. This has got some cracks going here on this upper plastic door panel piece, and the classic vintage car steering wheel cracks going on here, but really clean gauge cluster. It still has the AM radio in it. Ashtray sit here. It's out of the dash right now. I think they had like an aftermarket stereo stuck in the dash. This piece is broke, which I already got one. That's what's in the black bubble wrap there. And then seat split, which actually, for being a 79, that's actually not that bad, but I'll have to figure out what to do about that, because the rest of the interior is actually in really good shape. As far as like the seat upholstery goes, I need to remake that panel back there and get some new carpet for that. I'm going to get new carpet for the inside. There's obviously some rust bubbles, and I fear that there's probably going to be some holes in the floor, because that's soaking wet, and this thing's been sitting outside for several years, having nothing done to it. I don't know for how long exactly, but the tags, I think, were 2019. Let's look. Yeah, tags expired in 2019, and we're about to go into 2025, so it's been unlicensed for quite a while as far as licensed tagging goes. I don't know if anything was done with it after 2019. I know the guy I got it from, he had it for, he said, at least 2 or 3 years, and he had it in a storage yard. He was one of those guys that hauled cars off for scrap. He'd pay a fair price to the people, or get them for tow for title kind of thing, or whatever deal he could make out on things. And I think he said he paid up for this one a little bit because it was nice, and he didn't have intentions of scrapping it because it was so original and just straight. He's just like, I need to save this thing, and he just decided he wasn't going to do anything with it, so he threw it up on Marketplace, and my sister happened to see it, shared the post with me, and I told her, I was like, that's that car from high school. I should try to go buy that, because she was telling me, hey, here's a car you don't have. And then she started realizing that she recognized the car from high school as well. So it just worked out to be that the guy he really wanted to sell it to somebody who knew what it was, who understood what it was, and wanted to wanted to bring it back, you know, try to preserve it, at least, you know, clean it up, get it back on the road. And didn't want to see it get trashed, you know, because, you know, he's like, you know, the guy was a bit older than me, and he was like, these things were, he's like, when they were new, he's like, I didn't like them. He's like, nobody really wanted one when they were new. They were just a weird little car. And it was Chrysler's response to the Volkswagen Golf, which is, a lot of people think these are actually a Golf, but they're not. They're their own thing. But I'm gonna start tearing stuff apart. I got parts coming, so I'm gonna get the fuel system broke down and the brakes broke down and get some stuff ready to fix it up, and I'll make some more videos later. Okay, I got the good old shop back here. You know, as Derek by Script Garage would say, the Mouse Sucker 9000, or whatever version you want to call it. You know, it's not my favorite brand, but hey, I'll tell you what, out of all the rigid stuff I've used, this particular vacuum, I got it on special open box clearance, and man, this thing, it actually sucks, like really sucks in a good way. So I've been really happy with that. But we're gonna get rid of these you know, leftovers from the mice. This insulation pad, I've already ripped a whole bunch of it off because they had it all tore up, but there's enough of it there. I think I'm gonna leave it. It just looks pretty bad, but I'm gonna get all of that lovely tree debris sucked out of here, and I got some of the fuel lines off here, and got a couple more to get off. Got to get this fuel pump off, and that fuel make it happener. Good old little Holly, electronically controlled 2-barrel. And get it on the bench. So when I get my carb kit here, I got a whole bunch of parts coming. So I'm gonna get all this cleaned up. Might even get that the old master cylinder off here, which has got no fluid in it. So it might still actually work, but I'm not gonna trust it because I'm pretty sure it's original from 1979. It's not worth it. It's like, I don't even remember. It was like just really like ridiculously cheap for a rebuilt one, or actually I think it's a brand new one. But I have to get the that plastic reservoir off without breaking it. That'll be fun. Of course, there's a lot of other things here that I'm going to need to address at some point. Probably throw a new cap and rotor on it. You know, I mean, it's not, I don't know, you can't really, I can kind of see some flaky stuff on the contact there, but it's not like terrible. I did have this running off of a little bit. It wouldn't idle very rarely at all. I kind of had to like pump the throttle, which it didn't have. It wouldn't accelerator pump either. It was like running off a vacuum. So I couldn't actually run it like well enough to put it in gear because it's an automatic, and like try to drive it, which is probably fine because the brakes don't work. So we're going to get that carburetor cleaned up, and it sounded like it was running pretty good. It wasn't smoking or anything. Like I said, I had taken a bunch of video, and then I messed up on my phone. I was trying to delete something else, and I ended up deleting like an entire like 6 months of videos and pictures from some other stuff. I got a box van, a 79 Dodge box van, little single rear wheel. So it's kind of a skinnier, tall box van. I've been working on that, and I had a couple videos from that, and had a bunch of pictures and stuff, and yeah. That's the problem with using your phone to do this kind of stuff. So I'm going to try to get my camera set back up and start actually doing stuff with my regular big camera on a tripod. So that doesn't happen in the future, because I had some good video of this. I had some good video driving down to get it down in Springfield, and coming back, the weather was really nice coming home, and had good visual of the mountain, a little bit of mountains we got here close by and stuff, and just some good footage, you know, just to help make the whole story of this car. But we'll do with what we got. It is what it is. Stuff happens. But yeah, so let's make some noise here. mouse poop. Well, have to do a little more. Have to do a little more digging on some stuff here. I'm gonna pop these covers off that are up here on the the cowl panel that cover up the wiper motor, and I think this is an air intake for the heater. Not sure. How I can get all the rest of the junk under there. Kind of really needs to be pressure washed. It's pretty grungy, but figure if we can get all the leaves and all the nut shells and the mouse poops and everything out of here, it's just less stuff to fall into the engine accidentally. Like we'll have the carburetor off. I still haven't even checked the transmission fluid because where the dipstick is way down here, it's like on a ledge, the big cap. And if you pull the cap off, everything that's sitting on top of it and around it, it's just going to fall in the transmission, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to try to get the hose in there better. It's going to take two hands. You can see it's right here. This is the dipstick. You see that round cap at the base of it, and there's a bunch of stuff sitting down there. So I'm going to try to vacuum some of that up, and then I'm going to take some shop air and just blow it out of there, get it blowing on the floor anyways. But see, there's still stuff down under there that probably can get to that with the vacuum nozzle with the cover on here. But you know, this thing, it just comes right off somehow. I think it just, yeah. So just, anyway, you can see there's much more down in there. So I'll get all that out, but pretty cool thing. I didn't know if it was what the wiper motor would look like on this car, but it's actually the same. It's the same wiper motor Chrysler used for like 40 years. Okay, maybe not 40, but definitely a good solid, I don't know, 20 at least. Yeah, almost 20, because they had that. It's the same wiper motor that I've got all the way on my, let's see, I have a 72 Dodge pickup. It's got the same wiper motor on it. I'm trying to think. I used to have some 60s pickups, and I can't remember if they use the same wiper motor too or not, but it's just funny because that's super common wiper motor. They used to rebuild them. They don't rebuild them anymore. All the ones you buy are like these like weird plastic motor, how like this, the gearbox part is like this weird plastic stuff, and then the motor looks different, all the new ones you can get now. But really, as long as they don't get full of rust and seize up, man, I've never had one of these actually quit. So I think everybody that's replacing these, it's because they're really rusty, or they just have they've torn everything apart on their rig, and they've decided they don't want to chance it, so they just get a new one. But I've never had a new one because I have so many of these. I've got so many old Chryslers. I've got this stuff sitting on the shelves from stuff that I've torn apart over the years and whatnot. I don't think I can. I don't know. This seems like it's actually kind of glued on here. I might not try to mess with that. I might just blow some air under here, try to blow it all that way, because I don't want to like rip that thing off and then have to try to glue it back on. That wouldn't be any fun, because you can see there's stuff underneath it down here. So anyways, I'm going to turn this off and do some more stuff, and then I'll bring it back and show progress here in a little bit. Well, I was pulling up on this thing. It was just under the edge of this seal, but I flipped it up and then it kind of popped off on the one side, and I got it off on the other, and I didn't really want to take it off because I know this was kind of sealing it or gluing it on there. But definitely the air intake into the heater box, which, let's see if I can get the light on here. Yeah, there we go. I was sticking the hose down there. It was sucking up a bunch of nuts. There's still some in there. So that's unfortunate. There's a bunch of nuts in there, but looks like that's the heater core maybe. That doesn't look too bad, but unfortunately I can't get the phone in there quite right. A bunch of nuts down in there. Hopefully I can get a bunch of them out. I really don't want to take the heater box out of this car. That won't be any fun. Yeah, I'll be able to get that down in there. But yeah, so air intake for the heater box is definitely underneath that thing. But gotta have that on there, because if not, all the rainwater and stuff can come right through the grill of the hood and go right down in there and flood the car. So that thing's pretty important to have that in there. But there was a whole bunch of dirt on the other side of it here. Already sucked that all up with the old vacuum, and suck up a little bit more and try to get the nuts out of there. But just figured I would share that real quick, and then I'll get back to work here on some other stuff and video some other things after I get more progress.